Hey, okay.
Hey,
All right.
we
You're
are
about to say
back.
something powerful and not verbal noise,
I'm
Harris.
I'm going to start. Yeah, I know I've been criticized for verbal noise. Even me talking right now, this is
He
just
was good.
verbal noise.
He was being. He wasn't being too cruel.
That's
You know.
okay. I appreciate the advice. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna start with a hot take, which is that I really feel like the NFT hate is kind of bandwagony. Like I don't do NFTs, I don't buy NFTs. I'm not like in that circle at all, but I do not understand the like foam at the mouth hatred for NFTs. Like, and who
Well,
gives a
just
fuck? Like, if an
stupidly
artist is getting their
spiraled.
money in like some, I mean, I don't know, I don't get it.
Well, not anymore, because it's dead now. The
It's
market
dead
for it
now.
has been totally depleted, and
Yeah,
it still goes on. I still see like Jimmy Fallon .f or whatever, which is
Oh
weird that
my
Jimmy
god, dude.
Fallon's hawking NFT. Who is buying the Jimmy Fallon NFTs?
yeah.
Who
He
is?
he single-handedly tanked the NFT market with that. I feel
Good.
like
That's the one
it's
good
just
thing
like
he's done.
no one who gives a shit. That is too
uh,
funny
What
though.
wasn't the whole thing though? Like when NFTs just started, because I feel like this was the only rational reason to hate them. Was like, didn't it cost like in order to mint shit and like run the shit, you literally had to have like a warehouse of computers sapping up
yes.
electricity or something.
Well, that's crypto in general. The
Mm.
controversy with crypto, if it was just a weird speculation vehicle, sure, but there is an environmental cost to crypto. You're right, which is in order to generate the equations which create the sequence in the blockchain. These servers are doing thousands of equations a minute, and they're big heat fucking farms of death
Well, are
that
they like
just pump.
running on? Are they running on fossil fuels or nuclear energy or something? What
Think
am I not
Just
electricity.
just
understanding?
off the grid. I don't actually know. I shouldn't pretend to know about this stuff, but all I know is for certain there is an environmental cost to crypto, which is why it is controversial.
Okay.
But from my understanding, though, maybe with some of the sites they're still doing it that method, but apparently with like all the newer sites, the cost has been like, or the energy usage has been like severely diminished. Like they kind of
Hmm.
fixed the problem.
There
That's
was
why.
a thing called proof of stake, but it's still, it's just more energy being expended for something that isn't like inherently useful as anything but a speculation vehicle.
Mhm.
Like the only real use for crypto is that it's going to inflate in value based on arbitrary market trends, and then I will be able to capitalize on those fluctuations.
Like our
That's the
regular
best
stock
thing.
market.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah. But the regular stock market is more to like a product. As your stock goes up, not just because of speculation, because your product actually does something. Crypto just is like uh, computer fun bucks of regular currency that
Hmm.
you only need if you're doing secret shit. At its best, it can maybe be used to funnel money to an embattled, impoverished state like Palestine or something like that. But more frequently, it's not used for that noble cause. It's used for
I don't think
trafficking in the
so.
worst thing.
Or sending the
Worst thing
Yeah.
money to
yeah.
Israel, which,
Sure, yeah.
the flip
Yeah.
side of the coin. Yeah, of course.
Israeli crypto guys, I'm sure, are a very funny subset
Yeah,
of
for
people.
sure. Did you guys watch the I saw it's really dumb, but there was like a Netflix documentary that was called uh like the Tinder Swindler or something like that. Did you watch
Tinder
that one?
swindler, was
No,
it a
but that's
person that
a
swindled off of Twitter?
that
It's
could
in
be a
it.
good serial killer name. I feel like that's
Yeah,
pretty bold.
well, he was a serial scammer with women on Tinder, and he was this guy, this Israeli dude that was posing like he was like super rich, and he would literally show up to dates like he would all of his pictures on Tinder, he looked like super rich and popular, and he had photos where he was like drinking champagne on the beach and stuff, and then he would show up to their date in like a private jet and
Mhm.
like tour around the city with them or something like that. And he and then after they had this like amazing like date, he wouldn't be like texting them because he has to fly around. He says he works for some diamond company, and he's
Of
like
course.
messaging them, and he's like, I love you, I can't wait to see you again. And then like 2 weeks in, when these girls just think that they're in this like dream like long-term long distance relationship, uh they get like a cryptic message that's like him battered with blood and he's like tied to a chair, and it's a text that's like, "We have your boyfriend. You need to open up a credit card and send like $500,000 to this account or something." And they're all these women are like, "Oh my God, okay," and they do it, and he like did it to like 20 women, like so many women.
Dude,
and it's
maybe,
so crazy. It's
maybe
crazy.
it's because I'm a douchebag, but if a chick flew in for me and I got that picture, I would just be like, well,
these are
memories.
issues of geopolitics. I don't want to.
and the girls that they're interviewing are like, "I'm still $250,000 in debt. Like I can't."
Jesus
like
Christ.
Get these
insane,
loans.
yeah.
Did they just max out credit cards or something like that?
Yeah, they kept opening up credit cards and maxing them out. And it's like, it's pretty crazy that they let you do that in the first place. Like, I feel like the bank should have some type of like, "Sweetie, you've already opened up 4 credit cards
Yeah,
and
like,
maxed
what are
them
you
out. Like,
doing?"
maybe you should stop. Yeah.
The bank stereotypical sassy gay friend comes out and says, "Girl, marks."
Every
Need
bank needs one of
marks.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great documentary. I mean, it's not like well made, but it's funny. It's like it's like cool.
Yeah.
This is not as severe as the level, but there was a news story. I'm going to get the country wrong. It was either Japan or Korea, but some guy who was dating a bunch of women on Tinder and each gave them a different birthday so that he would throughout the year just be getting like tens of 20s of like fucking birthday presents, which is like, that's smart.
That's
It's
hilarious.
finance.
Dude, that's a grind set right there. Like that's just makes sense. You could do the same thing with like grandmas. You could like convince like 40 really senile old women that you're their grandson. And
I
just get them to
couldn't do
mail
that.
you.
I would feel so
I
shitty, dude.
mean, you'd have to be a scumbag, but you could make some serious money.
That's the plot of The Producers. In The Producers, that's what Zero
yeah.
Mostel
Oh,
is doing at the
yes.
beginning.
That's
He's
true.
cozying up to a bunch of grandmas in order
That's
to get
funny.
funding for his terrible theater plays.
Yeah, that's a great.
Was
I like
Nathan Lane in the original?
No, it's
No,
Zero
wow.
Mostel and Gene Wilder in the original, in the 1968 version, and also
The
Kenneth Mars is the
1968
Nazi.
Virgin.
The 1968 Virgin. The old 1968 Virgin. That sounds like some sort of precious alcohol.
Sounds like a bar, bro. I would drink there.
The 1968 Virgin.
Oh, 100%.
It does.
Yeah.
I always thought Zero Mostel was a really fucking cool name. It's not his real name, I think. It's a stage name,
yeah.
but
Zero?
Yeah,
his name is Zero.
Yeah, because he
he's
did terribly in school. He would get zeros all the time. So
I
think
treated
that-
as a bad.
I think that's really
That's
it might be
fresh.
apocryphal. It might be legendary, but that is the story.
I'm pretty sure that he said that his mom said he was going to amount to nothing or something like that.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
he
That
totally,
is the biggest
went by zero.
baller fuck you ever, dude.
Yeah,
That is
dope.
so fresh.
And that
It
guy
just shows how our education system doesn't have any room for creatives. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're a creative, if you have ADHD and you're creative like Zero Mostel, you will be left in the dust. Okay.
Or
Yeah.
you're punished. Yeah. 100%. 100%, baby.
Classic. Yeah, that dude's a legend. And he looked actually a lot like my grandfather, just like a big fat Jewish guy kind of like. Yeah,
There you go.
like,
Yeah.
That's
good,
the move.
yeah.
Bro, if you keep wearing these bowling shirts, you're going to have to put on a couple pounds. I feel like
I know, yeah. It's like
Mhm.
I don't really
If you got
fill it out,
chunky.
but whatever.
Yeah, you're doing fat guy appropriation right now. I don't
This
like
is actually
it.
this is the closest I can get to doing like a cosplay of Kowalski on the back wall.
Oh, you do kind of look like a penguin, bro.
Penguin shirt.
Mr.
Yeah.
Penguin Harris. Bro, I'm so glad House is here actually because somehow my mother saw the Vosh episode.
Uh-oh.
For the past week when she calls, all I hear about is like, Harris dresses so nicely and all you wear is a t-shirt. Like, what's wrong with you? He looks
That's
so
the vibe.
handsome. So I have a fellow t-shirt man here with me. So
Yeah, I'm
good.
not showing up for anything. We're the indie rock. We're like a scrappy indie band, like Pavement. Our songs aren't that good, but we're scrappy.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
right.
Pavement. Pavement are good.
scrappiness. Dude, this is a big deal though, bro. Cold Cuts ranked, no, was it 10 or 15 in Poland?
Something like that.
Arts
We were up
category.
there. Yeah,
Very
we were
high up there. Unless it was just a random spam email. But shout out to the Poles. I
think
love
it
you
was
Oh
guys.
real.
yeah,
I think it was real.
Do they make
House-
sausage? What do they do?
Yeah, they make
they get invaded by
kielbasa.
everybody
Nice.
because they have
That's the
no
move.
natural land barriers. There are no large rivers or mountains. It's just a plain that's very easy to conquer from all angles.
Yeah, Polish sausage is good. I like that shit.
Bro, before I trample all over you, you were about to ask how something.
I
Forgive
was
me.
I was just gonna ask how's your hiatus treating you so
Oh yeah,
far? I know that
Mr.
you've been
Mr.
taking a little bit
Vacay.
of a vacay.
I'm on vacation mode. I'm drinking a daiquiri.
Let's
I
go.
have I bought 12,000 coconuts because I'm using them for makeshift cups. I'm putting soup in them. I'm using them for all sorts of liquids. I'm using them for solids too, because you sort of want a bowl-like structure when you have a solid. Put a steak in there, slice
Sure.
up a steak, put it in a coconut.
Mhm.
Using the coconut hats, I'm making the tops. I'm making them little hats for dogs. Selling them to chicks on the internet who buy that stuff on Etsy. That look at my coconut hatted dog.
Well, this has
That's
been
what they
really
all sound like.
insightful.
They're all
Yeah,
from Long Island. I'm
thanks for-
hustling. Vacation. Call it a paycation.
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
That's what we're saying.
Hashtag finance. Can
Yeah,
we expect
absolutely.
some vacation house NFTs?
Yeah, please.
I wouldn't. I am NFT neutral. The only reason why I don't do them, I think I've said this before, is because my audience would just kill me. There's
Seriously,
there's
I
no
know.
need to
Yeah.
alienate myself from. It's unpopular enough with the audience I seem to have cultivated that it's not in the cards for me.
No,
But
yeah.
have at you, other people who might not alienate your audience.
Shouldn't your audience feel bad though because they're stopping you from making bank?
No,
Shouldn't
that's
you
not.
tell them no enough?
I mean, part of it is that's the weird thing. We're all doing this. We're all participating in. We're personalities, we're fun guys that you can hang around with, like Dream or Germa. Your favorite guys, Dream or Germa.
My favorite.
I don't know any of. I'm so fucking old.
Oh,
all
dude,
of these
I know.
people
That shit
are in
makes
my
me feel
periphery.
so old, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
they have
yeah.
millions of fans, and it's like I've never even heard
Like
of
literally,
this guy.
who
Where am I?
is this
What is-
guy? I know, yeah. That whole dream situation feels like it's like 9/11 for Coco Melon babies. Like it's like that, like just like I don't know who the fuck is watching that shit, but I don't think it's anybody over the age of 14.
Dude,
It's
this
like,
might be a hot take, but I have seen there's two takes on it that are very popular on Twitter right now. One is he's super hideous and looks like Rumpelstiltskin from Shrek, I guess.
No,
one of those
yeah.
I don't
characters.
think he has a big
I don't
chin.
think that. Yeah.
Dude, and then the other side is like, he's not ugly. He just looks like a regular, normal guy. And I'm like, to me, he looks like a cute man, very handsome. I think he's handsome.
Yeah,
I'm confused where the takes are coming from.
he looks like Walt Jr. from. He
A little-
looks like that
a little
actor
bit,
a little.
dude, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Uh,
Matt Pat, the last guy I remember when I was dialed into. Do you remember Matt Pat from It's a Game Theory? The really fucking aggravating YouTube channel that just
Was he not? I always assumed Matt Pat was the short orange haired guy who's dating the other orange haired chick that
I
does
don't
like
know.
a video game channel.
I don't know.
Is
I don't
Matt
know
Pat like
any
an
of these
older
other-
thing?
Matt Pat is from like a decade ago, by my estimation.
Okay, word.
It's a game theory. We're doing. What if Kirby? How much could Kirby possibly contain? We calculated it. We crunched the numbers. Really.
classic.
But it got very popular because it's bright noises and colors for the kids to watch. But he had the thing. Had the thing, the chin thing.
Yeah, the chin. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would say Dream has a pretty pronounced chin, but I also think he was kind of emphasizing it. He just seemed really nervous to me.
Well, he
Like,
only. I don't know if someone.
We're discussing this. How are we discussing
I know,
this? You just heard of Dream.
Yeah. Well, we're like
The
we're
Dream
like,
face reveal.
we're like three old guys trying to like make sense of why anybody cares about
What is
this
the
shit.
dream?
What
But dude,
is
he,
the
he
dream?
did seem a little self-conscious because I'm assuming a chick told him it was a cute angle for him, but from what I've seen the whole video, he's like holding his head to the side right here
Yeah.
and like
yeah.
not moving. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you look at him straight on, it's like completely like flat or something, but
I
he's a little nervous on that aspect.
I don't know. I mean, to me, he's slim. He's got a full head of hair, clear skin.
Well, he used to
That's it.
be like 300
like-
pounds. Like, I'm very impressed.
Yeah, I was
I'm
seeing
wondering
that
if
old
that's why
picture
he
of him.
held off on the face reveal
Because he was
because
a
he
big
wanted
guy.
to lose weight. Yeah.
He looked good to me. I don't really get why everybody's clowning on him, but
Maybe-
he's also like a millionaire, so I have a hard time sympathizing with people. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
dude, you're fine, buddy. Like,
But if you can get the millionaire to kill themselves due to body dysmorphia issues,
well, I don't want that.
that
That's
was,
terrible.
but that's
Well,
sort
if I
of
was
the
in his
internet has
will-
done.
I would take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that would be a funny movie where you get pronounced in someone's will and then you try to incite an online mob against them so that
So
they take their own lives.
themselves, dude.
That would be the plot of my screwball comedy. That would actually be a better plot because the movie Bros, Billy Eichner's movie Bros, failed at the box office.
Why didn't the straight show up?
Why didn't the straight show up for Bros? I had no interest in seeing it, but it seemed very weird, the marketing for it, which is like, this is a gay movie for everyday gays. This is about normal gays. And it stars two very fit men, doing Fire Island shit on the East Coast. There's no fat Midwesterners in it or anything like that. Like, what is it's this very narrow view of what being like a normal gay, it doesn't seem like, at least that's what
you want more diversity in your gay men, you're saying.
Not even, diverse, but just like, it doesn't, the marketing was very narrow. It wasn't a good campaign because it was trying to convince us it's like this Apatow, like, Pete
Goofy
Davidson
comedy,
coming, I don't know. It seems to more represent a very narrow subset of people but also, like, the Billy Eichner character is not a hero, right? Have you ever seen Difficult People?
No.
Difficult People is great because it's something that I yearn for, is more queer characters who are fucking assholes and dirtbags. And he plays like a real asshole. And he plays like a real, like a bad person in it. But he's human despite being a bad person. And the gist from what I got from the marketing, I haven't seen the movie, but I'm only judging by what I think was a failed marketing campaign. Why it didn't draw me in is because it's like, I would like to see a movie about that character, but you're now pitching me this Billy Eichner character who's like a psychopath. That's the character of, I'm a psychopath. I'm loud and crazy and intense in your face. Like, I want to see a movie about that character, not like, I'm finding love in a very, heteronormative East Coast Fire Island way. You
want to see like a gay Tony Soprano or like a gay Walter White, you're saying.
I want to see,
Dude, this is why I was telling Harris this earlier, but the reason the marketing, I would never go see the movie is because it's like, first of all, I don't go to movies alone. I'd usually go with a bro. And it's like, have you seen the movie House or no?
No, I think it might be good. It might be an excellent movie.
Oh yeah, it could be amazing, but from my understanding,
judging by what the ads I saw of it,
are they gay or are they like they find out they're gay?
No, it's about a relationship. It's about a relationship blooming. What it is, it's Trainwreck. It's gay train. Remember Trainwreck with Amy Schumer? It's the same. I don't know if Apatow produced this one, but it definitely feels in the vein of that, which is weird because that's like a decade late to the game. The last one we had of those was that fucking Pete Davidson one, which also felt like weird and out of place. Like it was from like the 2000s or something.
Yeah.
Well, dude, say the movie's amazing, but I could never be like, because like, say Harris lived here. I would, if I asked him to go to that movie with me, I would be the entire time be like, oh, he's going to think I want to hook up with him. Or like, he's going to think I want to do the movie with him. And like, that's why I can't imagine any dudes going together. Cause I feel like they would be freaking out about that the whole time.
I mean, I don't even really have like an issue with that, like gay movies. Like, I would go see Call Me by Your Name with my bros. Why not? Who fucking cares? I'm like comfortable enough with my sexuality, and it's a good movie. But can I put my hater hat on for a second?
Throw it on. We got 10 minutes of hater mode left.
Billy Eichner is, to me, like, you know how like people who shit on women comedians in a really general way will always just pull that card that's like, loud doesn't equal funny. Like, I feel that way about Billy Eichner, and he's not a woman comedian, but it's like, why are you yelling? I don't think this is very funny.
Well, I think that's like what made him, because Daft showed me like one episode, but I guess he did this thing like called On the Street. Where
Billy on the Street is very funny.
Like,
in that case,
people,
loud is funny. Yeah, when it's people are caught off guard and he's asking them a strange question, like, name one woman, and then they can't name a woman because they're so flustered.
But that's like a very specific. That's a specific scenario where screaming can be funny. Screaming can be funny. It can be funny, but that's like when I have never heard him speak at a normal volume, like ever, and any like ever. He's always screaming, and it's
He
like at
does
a
it
certain
in
point, I'm like,
difficult people. Watch difficult people. He's very good in difficult people, which is a
okay,
very good show. And I would have liked something more in the vein of that. It's about horrible. It's about a horrible woman and her horrible gay man friend, and they just are awful together. And
Do bad things happen to the woman?
No, well, to everyday bad things.
Oh, all right.
all
It
right,
sounds okay.
like shenanigans, like just shenanigans, level bad
Yeah.
things. Yeah,
And
okay, that's cool.
that I mean, Lena Dunham came under. Speaking of
saw
LGBT
that.
mishaps,
That was so funny.
an all-time great tweet. Lena Dunham saying that.
So good.
I just hope they take my casket through the NYC Pride Parade with a sign that says she wasn't for everyone, but she was for us. Mourning her dead body, giving her a fucking Viking funeral. The wailing gays behind her. Burning themselves on the pyre next to her. And the way it was phrased, it also sounded like I hope they drive me through my casket through the NYC Pride Parade, like she was a van attacker. So it sounds like she was sympathizing with van attackers. She wasn't for everyone, but she was for us, van attackers.
That's funny.
Dude, I saw someone retweet that tweet and they said, "Fuck no, but we will do this." And they just edited Lena Dunham's face on the XXX. Yeah, dude, I hate
bit.
like
That's
I
classic.
literally. There's times I scroll through the timeline and that's how I find out someone's dead.
Yes,
it's
me
so
too.
funny. As soon as you
Me
see
too.
that, you're like, "Oh, they died.
Yeah, like
They're
literally
fucking dead now." Like, holy
Like,
shit,
dude, it was record time that I saw the first Queen Elizabeth XXX Tentacion
dude, people were
one.
so
like it was like
fucking ready for that.
right,
dude.
like reared up, like, and I was like, how the fuck did you guys edit this shit together this quickly? It was like I saw Shinzo Abe ones. Ruth Bader Ginsburg's the funniest one to me. I love that one. But
Can
Dude,
I pitch it? Let me pitch a Beetlemoses comic. It's XXX Tentacion and Brian Griffin from that one time.
That's funny.
Brian, he died canonically on the show. But it could be any
good.
pop culture character who died, like Maud Flanders. That would.
Oh, that's good. That's
Maud.
good.
Dude,
I
Maud is
actually
fresh,
just-
bro.
Yeah, I just drew a Flanders.
You're sexually attracted to Maud Flanders. You're saying?
Not necessarily her, but the idea of her. Oh, wait a minute.
Sure.
You're talking about the Simpsons character.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I was
Who are you
talking
thinking
about?
of? What the hell are you talking about?
what's her name? B. Arthur?
B.
she plays
Arthur.
Maud.
What the
Oh,
hell is that?
I
yeah.
love that woman,
You love
bro.
Maud? Like
I
you
don't
would.
love the show, but
You're sexually attracted to B. Arthur?
dude, she's so fresh, dog. She has those like
She
huge
is.
shoulders, and she's just like always saying crazy shit.
I gotta
Golden
look
Girls
for
is a
this
banger,
person,
bro.
B.
All of those women are very fuckable, well into their 60s.
Oh, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me
Hell
started.
yeah.
Dude, did you
Yeah.
know the woman who plays the mother and who's supposed to be the oldest on the show, I think
Yeah.
is actually the youngest?
Is she? I
didn't
don't know.
that. Daphne told me that. You know what? The main thing about this podcast is saying stuff that might not be true like it is true.
Sure,
so I'm
yeah.
standing behind
Yeah.
that. I'm standing behind that
Oh,
statement.
what was the most recent thing that you just said that was like completely untrue? And I was like, dude, what?
I
Why
don't
would
know, but
even
you
say
literally
that?
sounded like my girlfriend because she always nails me on
Oh,
that shit.
I
She's
remember
like,
what it
"I don't know if
was."
It's true. What?
Well,
it's
I
going to
think-
be true. Watch.
I think House can actually maybe back me up on this because he's like historian, but
I don't know.
Zach, our resident Yellow Swag Studios, claimed that Gavin McInnes invented the word hipster and pretty much introduced what a
Not
hipster
the
was.
word hipster, but the
No,
hipster's
he was.
vibe and style.
That's not entirely untrue. He was very
Get
instrumental. in
fucked,
it.
Harris.
That
Get
is untrue.
fucked.
It is
He
untrue.
founded Vice magazine and
Yeah, but that's
Vice
not-
magazine with two guys, and it really developed the trend, especially with his fashion do's or don'ts. What hipsterdom was more than anything is that stupid ass fashion movement with the glasses and the plaid and the rich punk aesthetic,
Those
the wealthy
fucking-
punk aesthetic.
What are they called? You wear them instead of a belt. Suspenders.
Suspenders. Yeah, that shit was part. So, and we did an episode on this on our podcast because we talked about the hipster to fash pipeline after Ariel Pink got caught at the fucking January 6th, bro.
That's classic.
Wait, from my understanding, though, they totally deny it and say they weren't there.
Probably,
Am I
or
crazy?
that's probably true or something like that. But Ariel Pink is alt-right, whatever you make of that. Has expressed alt-right sympathetic
Interesting.
views.
Dude, I was
And-
accused of being alt-right and then also super lefty Antifa recently. So I feel
That's
kindred spirits with
classic.
that. Sorry,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
interrupted your tale. I'm a fool.
But yeah, but it just there's an interesting thing with especially like synthwave, how it's synthwave is really popular with white supremacists for some reason. Like have you heard fash wave?
Is this similar to
Bash
vaporwave? Because I know that was like popping off.
It's like
that.
vaporwave, but like with white supremacist stuff in the background. You know how there's like
Oh, the
white,
like video edits you're saying, and it has like the black sun spinning.
it had
around.
the black or like Hitler, but like video effects on Hitler, like sad Bart Simpson, but it's sad Hitler instead.
Interesting.
Dude,
And
It's kind of funny.
but yeah, there's something about that nostalgia, and also like how Drive is really popular on the poll board of fortune. For some reason, all of the internet fascists also like the Drive guy. For
well,
some
that's
reason,
literally them.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's,
you know.
I mean, that movie has
me.
been criticized because the bad guys are Albert Brooks and Ron Perlman, two tough Jews. You know, that's who
Is
Drive
Perlman
Guy is
Jewish?
facing. Yeah,
I
bro.
should have put that
He's one of the
together by
biggest
the
Jews
last
on
name.
it. Yeah,
Jewish.
yeah.
That's how unracist I am. I hear a name like Perlman or
I
Goldberg,
had
and I'm
no
like,
idea.
I
You're
thought
like,
he was
"What?"
Filipino. I had no idea.
I had no idea.
Drive has been criticized for that, but yeah, there's something about that sort of like retro 80s aesthetic and that thing when Vice magazine was coming up in Williamsburg, like you can hear quotes from Gavin McInnes going like, it's good to see a lot of white faces here in Williamsburg, like half joking but not actually, because we know what he actually believed. And he was posting on stuff like, are you familiar with VDare?
No.
It's
a truth or dare thing.
No, it's a racist anti-immigration website. It's called VDare because it's named for Virginia Dare, who is the first white child born on American soil. Some really corny ass shit.
Good for her.
Good
for her.
But yeah, there is something about this obsession with authenticity and exclusivity that does have its root in this sort of fashion and fascism fused together, which is also the point of the anime Kill la Kill. You know, what we wear defines our station and class. And by enforcing these rules arbitrarily through cool and disseminating it through hipsterdom, you know, we can affect media in some way. Or
So
we can affect mass consciousness in some way.
To boil this down to something I understand, I'm right and Harris is wrong, correct?
No. I'm gonna tell you
he
right
didn't
now.
invent it. Hipster's been around since the 60s. It was used to describe originally white guys who did like jazz music.
That's what the fuck
well,
I
if
said.
I said
and
I didn't
okay.
mean, I'll give you this. If I said he invented the word, I was wrong on that. But he invented this current style, I think.
Yeah, the modern idea or the idea of hipsterdom that arose from 2000s, 2010s New York, that has a lot of its roots in Gavin McInnes.
I looked up who was the first hipster. You're never gonna guess. The answer,
Burroughs.
It
Larry
says
David.
Saint John the Baptist. That's going way back.
This is a Tradcath podcast now.
Who wrote this? An Anabaptist?
What the hell is going on here? And then there's another article here that says why Martha Stewart was the first hipster. How the hell did that come about?
I don't know. I don't think
we're about to get cut off, but I'm gonna rail a cig, and I'll see you boys in 5.
Okay, that sounds good. I was just saying how much I love almonds. It's one of my favorite nuts. I can eat them raw, no salt, no seasoning, nothing. Roasted, just the regular raw almond.
Yeah, raw dog and almonds, baby. You know, dude, no condoms.
I don't eat them. They're for the squirrels. But I was telling Harris, this is science house. You'll appreciate this. It's very intricate, very deep. But the neighbors leave like a little bowl of walnuts out for them, so they know to like, you know, I think instinctively squirrels know to like crack the nut open.
Sure.
But when I give the same squirrels almonds, I don't know if it's just force of habit, but they literally chew the skin off before eating it.
Oh, what?
I don't know if they assume they have to like, that's them cracking it. But
interesting.
I wish I could.
Maybe it's fun for them. Maybe it's have you ever taken the skin off of an almond just using your salivary glands and, you know, a bit of know-how from the tongue?
No, but you were doing a hamster version of it.
Yeah, you can do like Hamtaro. You know, I had an abandoned joke where Hamtaro was eating one of their young.
Oh hell yeah!
Dude, that's
but
so fucked, bro.
I didn't go through with it because I didn't think people knew who Hamtaro was anymore.
No, you could pull that off.
Dude,
That's
I
good.
never watched that shit, but anytime I visited the States, I would always hang out with my cousin and we'd watch cartoons like SpongeBob and all that shit. And I remember like as soon as Hamtaro came on, he would get so fucking angry, dude, and just like these gay hamster cartoon, like
gay
fuck
hamster!
this."
Oh my
Yeah.
god, this is beneath my tastes as a cartoon lover. This fucking
good.
what is this for girls? Oh.
Dude, literally was his vibe. But he was raised in a not anti-animal household, but I totally get it. Dude, I remember any time his cat would have babies or like sometimes for some reason cats would show up at his house, I think because they left food out, but like there was a bunch of kittens one time and he was like, dude, 5 new kittens, this is gonna be so sick. And then I remember one day early in the morning we heard like a bunch of gunshots and yeah, my aunt was just like, yeah, the kittens ran away. And it was like, dude, I found out later, yeah, she would, dude, sometimes they would kill these animals and be like, yeah, we wouldn't be able to keep them and like keep feeding them. And it was just looking back, I'm like, dude, that is so fucked.
What the hell? That's
That
fucking
is
horrifying.
so fucked, dude.
Have you seen the Dr. Oz puppy killing story?
No, what is that?
Jesus
When
Christ.
Dr. Oz puppy experiments is what comes up on Google.
Was he doing them?
Here I'm going from the Daily Beast. Dr. Oz conducted experiments that killed 329 dogs and 31 pigs. Report. We don't care
Jesus.
as much about the pigs, I guess.
No, I guess not.
Well, dude, wasn't there something Fauci did when he was like doing a younger man? He was like doing something to beagles with sand fleas.
Nah, they're all,
The
I'm
fuck?
sure.
Dude, I hate what is up with science. Like, I realize sometimes, especially rats. I know, maybe it's in Russia, but they actually built a big statue for lab rats as like a thank you
Okay.
for how many of them died. But there's so
Yeah.
many times you see a science story or some science briefing, and it's like, we strapped an electrode to a monkey's ball sack, and we found out shocking him every 30 seconds caused him extreme pain and PTSD. And it's like,
Yeah.
dude, I could have told you that. I could
Yeah.
have told you that that would cause pain to the
That's
monkey.
fucked
Like,
up. I mean,
we have to do that.
Here's my other thing. God, I already opened this fucking episode with NFTs. Like, I know already people are gonna be in the comments.
You're
just
the
like, yo, what
NFT
the
man.
fuck is Beetle smoking? But like, also, like, when I see shit that's like, on the bottles it says like, our products are never tested on animals, and I'm like, but you should test it on something because. What are you testing it on then?
Well,
How do I know
they're
that
just
it's-
they're doing the numbers. They're taking some educated guesses. I'm reading some of the details of this Dr. Oz story. It's horrifying. Do you want to hear some of these awful
Yeah,
details?
let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Del Orto testified that a dog experimented on by Oz's team experienced lethargy, vomiting, paralysis, and kidney failure, but wasn't euthanized for a full 2 days. She alleged other truly horrifying examples of gratuitously cruel treatment of dogs, including at least one dog who was kept alive for a month for continued experimentation despite her unstable, painful condition, despite how data from her continued experimentation was deemed unusable. According to Del Orto, one Oz-led study resulted in a litter of puppies being killed by intracardiac interjection with syringes of expired drugs inserted
Jesus.
into their hearts without any sedation.
What was
Upon-
he trying to like? What was
Once
the
a-
experiment? Like, what
Here's
was
the
he?
last sentence. Upon being killed, the puppies were allegedly left in a garbage bag with living puppies who were their litter mates.
What the
Bro.
hell, dude?
What
What the fuck?
Yeah,
What were
Dr.
you-
Oz.
like, what were they trying to figure out?
They were how cruelly you can murder a puppy, I guess.
Seriously, what
Dude,
the hell?
there
Dude?
is
It's like
a
the
flip
worst thing
side,
I can
though.
imagine.
Because am I getting history wrong? Thank God Alex is here, and you, Harris. You guys are smarter than me. Wasn't there a bunch of shit done, not just by the Nazis, but also I think by the Japanese, that was like incredibly cruel to a ton of people, but the science actually was able to like help
Well, I
humanity with a
mean,
ton of shit.
you could do Operation Paperclip. You could argue about that. You've heard of Operation Paperclip,
I
right?
thought
Yeah.
that was the Tom Cruise movie where he tries to blow up.
That's
Hitler.
Valkyrie. That's Operation
Okay,
Valkyrie.
all right.
Yeah,
Paperclip
Paperclip.
was the one where they got all the Nazis, the CIA and the American
Yeah.
government imported all the Nazi scientists, chief among them Werner von Braun, who was big into rocketry and
Yeah.
couldn't have done what we did in the space race without him. But as to whether Yeah, I don't know if that's particular. We use Nazi stuff all the time. There was one thing the other day where someone was like, I just found out that Doc Martens was a Nazi. And then it's like, yeah, Hugo Boss and Fanta.
Dude, you got to admit though, like someone posts a thing all the time on Twitter, but it's all the rankings of Nazis and their outfits, and it's like, God damn, the drip is crazy.
Swaggy.
The drip is crazy.
Once again, fashion and fascism. You see why Gavin McInnes got to it through fashion.
Callback.
It's all unified.
This is embarrassing, and I just have to admit it because I'm mentally challenged. But after you explain Operation Paperclip, the reason I do know what it is because someone posted the clip from what's it called, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Okay.
And it's like the Operation Paperclip scientist speaking to the soldiers, and it's the clip where Will Smith says we are gonna get in trouble or something, and then the dad's like we
yeah,
we
yeah.
That's pretty good.
Let me just describe a meme to you guys.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sometimes you get.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that NASA was founded, like the chief scientists at the very beginning were all Nazis.
That was from the paperclip thing, I think, right?
Yeah, it was all through that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if I would. It justifies. I would take the space race. I wouldn't want to go to the moon if it also meant we didn't have to do the Holocaust either. I would,
I don't know why that was such a big dick showing contest when we were racing with Russia, like,
because it was the bigger implication was that we're smarter and our technology is better, and like I think it was kind of like a metaphor for nuclear war, like our shit is, we could fuck you up, but it's like at the end of the day both countries are superpowers and have very smart scientists. And
well, I mean, also Russia just handed America its ass when it came to technological development in the space race.
They beat us to space, right?
Yeah, they beat Yuri Gagarin was the first. They beat America to a lot of firsts in space as well.
Launching a dog up there with
the dog
plan Laika.
Yeah, Laika.
What a fucking dog. The goat, I know.
Yeah.
And there's a monkey one up there too, but that was America, right?
Monkeys are so fresh, bro. That's how you know we're better. They're using dogs, we're using monkeys, bro. That's the power play.
Monkeys, chimps creep me out a little bit. Like,
I find them less sympathetic than dogs because they're capable of guile and malice.
Yeah.
Not only that, they could literally, their strength is inhuman. I'm going to sound like Joe Rogan, but they can literally remove your limb without even trying. Have you guys ever listened to the audio? This is so fucked, bro.
The lady getting her face ripped off by the chimpanzee. Dude. Yeah.
Ugh.
They reference it in Nope. That's
I still need to see that. Harris was walking me through it.
It's real good.
He spoiled it for me. I didn't want it to be spoiled, but he just spoiled it.
House, did you see this movie Barbarian?
I haven't seen Barbarian. I've heard many good things about it.
It is so good. In my opinion, it's better than Nope. I think and it's scarier. Like if you like scary movies, it's very scary, but it's very good.
Don't hate me, Harris, but I knew I was never going to see it just because Daff really doesn't want to go see it because of Justin Long. So I did look up the whole plot. I won't. No, I'm not at all. But you were 100% correct because just from the commercials, I'm like, what is this? A scary Airbnb?
No, I know the movie.
Yeah. It's so good. I don't want you to leak anything because I think it's a crime that there's nobody really talking about it. Like I don't see anybody tweeting about it or anything like that. And it was like, I think it was like my favorite movie that I saw this year. It was so fucking good. The marketing team kind of dropped the ball.
I'd like to think
it made bank. It did well. It did well at the box office. It made its money back, made its budget back.
It was great, and I would definitely recommend seeing it while it's still in theaters if you haven't seen it.
It was directed by the Whitest Kids You Know guy. That's one of the Whitest Kids You Know's guys.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Not Trevor Moore, but Zach Prager.
Well, I'd hope not, because he's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, that would be super. That would be a super scary
movie. That would be
movie.
spooky. That would be spooky.
Oh, geez.
Dude, there's a bunch of. Did they ever release exactly how he died? Because I know there's like a bunch of theories that like.
I know.
I don't want to speculate.
I think he fell off of something. That's the report that I saw.
What it was?
He fell off of the balcony.
Yeah. He was drunk and he hit his head or something like that.
People always share his tweets where he was like. He was something about anti-COVID, and they're just like, "Dude, it's right in front of us." Like, the government killed him because
he had information that would lead to Hillary Clinton.
The government killed the whitest kid you know.
The Hillary stuff's
crazy.
real though. The Hillary
Yeah.
stuff, that stuff I believe, bro. There's too
What,
many
Seth
guys.
Rich? Are
who
you a
shoot
Seth Rich
themselves.
truther?
Dude, that is like the only
it?
part of that story that does make me wonder what's going on is because the police said it was a mugging, but apparently nothing was taken from him. I don't know why
about
you'd
Seth
go
Rich.
through killing someone to do that. He was
I
just
mean-
a DNC. He was a Democrat, right?
I don't know what the fuck anything about Seth Rich. I know it was among the right. It was a conspiracy that he was murdered because he had information that would lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton.
Right. Yes.
I have not
Who knows?
investigated. I'm only familiar with the meme. But I get it. I mean, look at Epstein, right? You know, how can you? That should, in terms of suspicious deaths, that should. Everyone was like, yeah, sure. That doesn't seem right.
Is that crazy to think that something happened there? Because it does seem very strange.
No, probably not. But I'm like, I think like I'm sort of a Bush did 9/11 guy. I'm sort of
A little bit. Well, I think
bit.
that conspiracy theories are just really fun to believe. Like it's
Sure.
I think you'd be hard pressed to find anybody in the modern age who doesn't believe in at least one conspiracy theory. And
Oh, yeah.
like, 9/11 was an inside job is almost just like that's like entry level conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
most people can say like, oh yeah, there probably was something fishy about that one.
But that's the thing is like a lot of them turn out to be fucking true, like MK
A lot of them
Ultra or like have you heard of the fucking Franklin credit scandal?
No, what is that? Franklin
That shit-
Credit?
Yeah,
Yeah,
what is
Franklin credit scandal. It was an alleged pedophile ring that took place out of Omaha, Nebraska, that had deep ties to the government through a guy called Lawrence King, specifically through the GOP. This was a guy who would like sing the national anthem at Republican Party fundraisers and benefits, and also in Omaha, Nebraska, was allegedly running a fucking pedophile ring. And it got swept up as part of the satanic panic in the late 1980s. And a lot of people deemed it a hoax, but there's been more recent scholarship suggesting that, no, this was some straight up
A real
actual
thing,
true
yeah.
detective shit, you know, some like dark ass, you know, Saturnalia that was taking place with government participation, you know.
There was some shit going on. I mean, since we're on the topic of conspiracies, I don't know if you guys have seen this doc, but you guys know Son of Sam?
Yeah. Summer of Sam or
Well, the Summer of Sam, I guess, is the doc I saw. But
no, not the doc. That's the Spike Lee movie. Son of
never
Sam is.
mind.
I know the killer Son of Sam. Though,
there's something. Maybe it's called Son of Sam's. I don't know what it is, but this reporter who ended up getting killed was like doing research and like because when they originally captured the guy, what's his name?
Berkowitz, David
Berkowitz,
Berkowitz.
Berkowitz, yeah. When they originally captured him, he was saying shit about how he was part of like a cult thing. But to be
Yeah.
fair, he also claimed the dog next door was communicating with him.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's the
But then-
most
but-
sound of mind.
Well, no, then he subsequently, I think, in later interviews, confessed that it
was just him.
Yeah,
it was
a
just
fabrication.
The dog
yeah.
thing was a hoax. Yeah, that he
But
was just
this documentary puts some very big evidence down into there actually being kind of what you were saying, how it's like some sort of satanic weird cult. And like one of the guys who apparently he was involved with ended up killing himself like very soon after also.
Yeah.
There was like a bunch of weird shit. But dude, at the end of the day, as much as I want to believe in conspiracy theories, and like, I mean, like you said, House, I do think there are some that are real, but a lot of the big ones, I'm always like, I really just think some stuff happened because people are stupid.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like
Oh,
some of them can be boiled down to that, or like just people being in the wrong place at the wrong time, or blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. But like,
a lot of shit can be chalked up to negligence, like, or just ineptitude. Like most shit, even things that you think somebody's doing something malicious, a lot of the times you can just chalk it up to, oh no, that person's just an idiot. But
yeah, a baboon,
But-
or they just weren't thinking.
when it comes to things like when it comes to the government, I'm way more just like, yeah, you guys did that shit, didn't you? I had a buddy show me. Did you ever have like a friend sit you down and show you the Pizzagate documentary?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was on 4chan during that, baby.
Oh yeah, that was
Comet
big.
ping pong.
Good old Comet Ping Pong.
James Delafontis, all that shit.
What was it? 4,000 hot dogs, and the hot dogs were a synonym for male prostitutes.
And they
they're like
wanted
just like
almonds on their
they're
pizza
like,
or
can we
something
get
weird.
walnut sauce on that corn
Yeah.
dog or something like that? And there's always somebody getting arrested. House, they finally putting you
They're
away.
coming for me, bro. They're coming for me.
okay.
Now they just drove by.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, I remember watching the pizza game. My friend was very like, dude, isn't that crazy? That shit, like, I think it's real. I think it's real. And I remember watching it. It was a convincing documentary, but it's also like, I don't want to believe that this is real because it's just too fucking dark and
I mean,
up. Like,
is it that dark? I mean, we celebrate some open pedophile rings, like the entire 1970s rock and roll retinue. You know, Jimmy Page and all Jimmy Page and Tyler. I almost called him Tyler Perry. Steve Perry.
Oh, that's close.
And
don't drag Tyler. Don't drag.
No, I won't drag Tyler Perry's good name. And, no.
Oh god,
Medea is a national treasure.
Yeah.
Fucking what's his face? Ted Nugent did
all
it all.
Guys.
That was rock and roll for a while. Was just an out in the open pedophile ring, and everyone was like, "Yay! The 70s. This is the worst time in human history." Now
that's one of the conspiracies I think is semi-true. Not that pedophiles are like running Hollywood as like a cabal, but there's definitely some sort of offshoot doing stuff. Have you guys seen? I keep bringing up documentaries, but it's called An Open Secret.
Yeah, that's the Corey Feldman one, right?
I think it's
Corey Feldman was big because Corey Feldman was molested when he was a young lad, and also
he talks about that.
He talks about how Corey Haim was also molested, and that eventually led.
I get frustrated with people like him, and like, dude, I get it. Being molested sucks. I've technically been molested, so I can talk about this. Legally, I can shit on Corey. But,
you flash your molested card.
That's right.
But he was doing this shit a few years ago where he was like, I'm about to drop the biggest info on one of the biggest pedophiles who's in Hollywood. And he kept like psyching it up and then just never did anything. Yeah.
No, he did. He did drop it, but it wasn't somebody who people would recognize. It was like a big agent, but it's like you were expecting, because the thing with Harvey Weinstein is everyone had heard of Harvey Weinstein. It was just, he was a big enough producer that his name became synonymous with the movies that he produced, like with Miramax, with Quentin Tarantino. And so that's why it was a big deal. But when Feldman eventually accused the person who did it, it was just somebody nobody recognized. Still horrible, but it was like there wasn't. It didn't attract that media attention in the way that you get when it's a more famous
Harris
wrongdoer.
was shitting on Feldstein for no reason. That's what you're saying. Yeah, you shouldn't have said that about Corey Feldstein, bro.
Feldman, Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
You're mixing
Feldstein.
up your general Jewish suffixes.
Corey
Feldfarb.
Corey Feldberg.
Yeah,
Feldberg. I remember he came under some fire because he was talking. He'd been very open about being molested as a kid in Hollywood for a long time, but also went on like The View or something and told the ladies there, or like Barbara Walters.
Yeah, and she was like, "You're destroying people's careers."
Well, yeah, there was that, but the other side of it was that he made a point to say that like, yeah, I was friends with Michael Jackson and he never touched me. So and then these documentaries came out and were pretty much exposing that Michael Jackson most certainly did molest these kids. I think it's pretty.
There had to be weird shit going on, bro. Like, even if you have the mind of a child, having kids sleep.
Right.
I can't imagine at any point in my life, even if like apparently his bed was the size of like a pool.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's part of the game too. Like if you're an enterprising abuser, like you'll have normal relationships with children as well to throw people off. So that they'll come to you. It's in the same way that when Marilyn Manson was being accused of all of his stuff, Dita Von Teese was like, "He's a gentleman to me."
Yeah,
yeah. Like, I shouldn't make fun of her like that, but you don't know what your people are up to. People are up to crazy shit. You don't know the secret lives of people. It's amazing what people are able to hide. BTK was a family man, right?
They never found him though. right?
They found BTK.
They got him,
They
yeah.
I
got
thought
him.
they didn't.
No,
Oh,
they
I'm
got
sorry.
it.
I'm thinking of the Zodiac guy. I'm thinking of the Zodiac.
Yeah,
The
Zodiac
guy,
He got
yeah.
away
Well,
with
dude,
it.
I mean, the biggest one I'm always blown away is who was that British Jimmy Savile?
Jimmy
Jimmy
Savile, yeah,
Savile.
he
And he
talk
literally,
about hiding in plain sight. Yeah,
before he
Yeah.
died, he would be like, "Yeah, when I'm gone, people are gonna be really like, they're gonna find out some fucked up shit about me," and no one's
Yeah.
like, we should look into this."
Yeah,
They were like,
everyone was just like, "Oh, you're crazy, man." Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that was crazy, and that was kind of like an open secret in the UK, right? Like, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
Well,
he
no,
was being
I don't-
broadcasted for years into
but I
people's
don't think it was
television.
an open secret because I actually don't think a lot of people knew, even though he was saying shit like that. Because I remember it was
Yeah.
like a big deal when they discovered it or whatever. But I could be getting that totally wrong. I am a baboon.
I think it was there's audio of Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols in like the early 80s or like the late 70s talking about, oh, Jimmy Savile, there's something going on there, isn't there? There's something a little bit wrong. You know, I think
That's good.
people knew sort of had the vibe. I mean, have you seen the documentaries on him? There's just footage of him on top of the pops just reaching into a 13-year-old girl's dress. You know, it's like fucked up. He
Oh,
would do
bro,
that shit
what?
live on the air.
Right.
And you know,
But that's how these guys do it. That's how like this guy and Michael Jackson, both of them made it just like, I'm eccentric. This is my thing. I'm just weird, and I'm
Yeah.
friends with kids, and I do this shit. And for some reason, because they're famous, everybody's just like, haha, yeah, what a crazy dude. And then after they die, it's like, how did we let him get away
Yeah,
with this?
how
It's
did
like,
that
dude, what the
happen?
fuck? How did we? Why did we all just?
yeah.
I don't think. Well, I want to believe that now I think Michael Jackson, all of this huge expose on him now post mortem, will probably stifle anybody in the future from acting so brazenly on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think he was very like open about he was like holding a kid's hand in interviews and shit like that all the time, and like, you know what I mean, like that, and people were just like, he's just a kid at heart. And now I think people are going to be a lot more dubious of like any type of behavior.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm sure there's like Drake keeps getting away with it, you know.
That's true. He does.
He keeps hiding in plain sight, you know.
Yeah.
Dude, I
Cold
remember
Cuts
there was a
podcast.
big Cold Cuts podcast calling out Drake.
I was gonna say we're officially anti-Drake, yeah, just
Anti-Drake,
in case
baby.
anybody was wondering.
There was a big story that was famous in my school, and I swear I looked it up, and there was actually a news article about it, but I could be wrong. But apparently, because at one time Michael Jackson moved to Bahrain, which is like an island, it's its own country. It's where I was born. But a lot of the kids from Saudi, we drive out there because that's like where the mall was. Bahrain didn't have as strict rules as Saudi, so like if you wanted to buy pork, you could go there and shit and like smuggle it back. And but there was a story about someone was in an abaya acting kind of weird at a store, and someone joked like, "Hey, it's Michael Jackson," and the abaya woman immediately ran away like full force. But apparently he would dress up in a full abaya when he was in Bahrain
What?
to hide, so like people wouldn't see him when he was like out in public or just doing random shit.
How did that person realize it was him? I wonder.
Well, apparently
like,
they were, from my understanding, watch this just be a myth that happened, like that was made up at my school, but it was they were just acting weird and they made a joke.
Oh, really?
I think before the event, people knew it'd been known that that's how he got around, like in an abaya.
Interesting. Imagine he's like walking in full disguise and he just lets out like a
Yeah.
and everybody's just like, it was like, oh my god, it's him.
Get him,
It's like,
get him.
It's classic. I mean,
Dude,
Michael Jackson, I still love his music. I still listen to it all the
I
time.
don't get the appeal, dude. I try
like
to
it.
listen to
Really?
this shit all the time, and I hate it, bro. I hate
I
his
think
music.
it's very funky. I think it's very
Yeah,
funky.
he's really good. I mean, he was definitely a once in a generation talent for sure. I don't know.
You don't like any of the Jackson 5 stuff? You don't like I Want You Back? You don't like Ben?
I love the Jackson 5 music.
Jackson
is fresh
5
as
is
hell.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I Want You Back is a banger. But
But
I just
you don't like Billie Jean or
You don't like Don't Stop Till You Get Enough?
Yeah, don't stop till you get enough. Rock with
the
you. Those are
only
great.
Jackson song I enjoy is the cover by Alien Ant Farm of Annie, Are You Okay? And even then, I
Smooth
don't
Criminal.
like it that
Even
much.
then.
You know, like the anti-Semitic Michael Jackson song.
Is there one?
like that? Yeah, they don't really care about us. You know that
Bro,
one? They don't really care about. They don't really.
that's
Oh
not even
my
a conspiracy. It's true.
That's
It's
real.
true.
I like
hey, whoa.
my
Whoa.
favorite. One of my favorite bits of Michael Jackson lore is that it is still not. I think the Jackson camps kept it completely under wraps, and it still hasn't officially been decided how he and his dancers were able to do that forward lean when they're on stage. You know that like move
Oh,
that he
yeah, I've
does
heard
where
that.
they
I think.
they
I
come
think.
back.
Doesn't he have a patent? There's a patent for those shoes.
There's a lot of like
found out.
there's a lot of working theories, and people say the most common theory is that there were underneath the sole of the shoe there was like a little divot at the bottom of the sole, and there were nails in the floor, so the head of the nail was sticking up just like a quarter inch out of the floor, and they were leaning on that out of the thing. But even that, if you watch a video of him doing it live on stage, it's like, how the fuck, that doesn't even make sense. Like they lean really fucking far forward. It's
Dude,
that I love that shit.
I
That
hate to
shit's
say
crazy.
it. I think child abuse is bad, but it seems like all these people, especially like Michael Jackson, if you make your kids sleep in the fireplace and hit him with the poker a few times, they all turn into very talented individuals.
No question about it. Yeah. I mean,
The Joe
yeah.
Jackson method of parenting you're advocating?
Dude,
I
One
don't
of
know if
them
I'm
might become a
advocating it.
serial pedophile, but what a talented serial pedophile.
Well, dude, I don't want
Absolutely.
my kid to grow up and be completely normal and boring and be like, Dad, why didn't you shove a poker in my ass?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
why didn't
yeah.
you beat me? Like, I
Dude,
could have I could have been a contender.
Yeah,
It
you're
is
going to be
crazy.
a tiger mother. You're going to
Careful, careful.
you
Apparently
and
that's,
Amy Chua.
it's
Did,
a dangerous phrase.
Did
Oh,
you ever
no.
see? Is it? Why?
I don't know, but I remember when the phrase became famous because there was like a New York Times journal. My mom was like reading me them, like, look at these women. Don't like, I should be more like this, like making you wake up at 5 a.m. to do your homework. Aren't you glad I'm not like this? And I was just like, please, what is going on? Yeah, my mom admired tiger women. You know what that is, Harris?
No, what is that?
It's correct me if I'm wrong, House. It's generally like an Asian mother.
Well, there was a book written by this lady called Amy Chua, who is a Harvard law professor, and she was also known for sending a lot of women to clerk under Brett Kavanaugh, which is later found out during his hearings. But yeah, she did the book, The Ballad of the Tiger Mother, which was about all this namby-pamby parenting you have in America. You know, here are the values of like strict Asian parenting, you know, and it sort of came out around a time where there was a vogue of like literature about Asian, like it also came out around the same time as Crazy Rich Asian stuff. There was about something about this wealthy Asian class of people became this sort of aspirational thing as well. So it was liked by the same class of people that like pop science books like Malcolm Gladwell, or even, you know, Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life or something like that. You know, part of this self-help community.
I really thought Jordan Peterson was like an online phenomenon, but one of my roommates, you know, before I moved in with Daff, was like really big into those books. He really liked the ones, you know, those stupid cringe ones that are like, don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
fuck
the
business.
Yeah, the subtle art of not giving a fuck.
Yes,
Oh,
that was like one of
God,
his
yeah.
favorites, but he was going through some because he was like, dude, these really helped me. And then he was like, dude, have you heard of Jordan Peterson? Like he was letting me in on a secret. Like, it reminded me of when my dad called one time and was like, have you heard of Q? Like they think they're about to blow your mind. And I was just like, it took me everything to say, don't forget to wash your penis or whatever. But
Whatever. I've got into my crackpot theory about Jordan Peterson on here before, right? Or I've
I don't know.
refresh
Yeah,
the
say it
Cold
again.
Cuts audience.
Well, okay, so you remember the movie Good Will Hunting, right?
Yes.
You remember the scene in Good Will Hunting where Matt Damon is crying and Robin Williams is consoling him and stroking his hair and going, "It's not your fault.
Yes.
It's not your
Yeah.
fault." So a large swath of people see themselves as Goodwill Hunting. They see themselves as this down on their luck tough guy who's good natured and honest. He's a working Joe and he's really smart if someone would just give him a chance, you know?
This is the
And
proto drive thing of that's
yeah,
For
me.
sure.
That's
that's
me.
yeah,
He's just like me.
identifying. I mean, they wouldn't none of these, like the people that like Peterson would probably identify with Matt Damon because he's too much of a liberal pansy. But actually, you know,
True.
I'm speaking too broadly because there are a lot of like centrist or otherwise, you know, center left or left wing fans that have found meaning in that book, which is, you know, just a collection of very simple advice. But I think what it comes down to is like, and people mock him for crying, but the crying is the point. There's not like a lot of things that signals to this group of alienated, usually white men, mostly, that it's okay to cry. You can cry. And usually when it's someone saying that, it's somebody who they've learned to dislike for one reason or another. It's some sort of blue-haired psychotherapist. But no, here's some SJW. Yeah. But here's this model of masculinity, and he's weeping all the time. You know, he's telling me my conservative values are cool and that I am the one that's under attack, and, you know, I am embattled, you know, and he's stroking my hair and saying, it's all right, you know. That was like his thing. He would say, these young men are coming to me with tears in their eyes.
Right. I remember that.
It's about it's fundamentally about this alienated class of people, of like usually young white cis men. And it has a broader reach than that, but that is the core demo, as people say.
Well, dude, I think there is a need for that in a sense, because I don't think we need to. I mean, throughout time, there's been the mentorship, you know, like the younger guy, the older guy giving him advice. We don't need to go all the way back to the Greek version of it, where we're fucking young men's thighs in order to give them social advice. I don't think we have to go that far, but I don't see a lot of that shit going on anymore. And I'm so grateful in college, like the amount of like seniors. I can think of a few people in particular who kind of like took me under their wing and kind of gave life advice and shit. Like, I don't know. I think that's just like a very special thing.
Well, you know, there is like an equivalent of that on the left, which is like Hassan. I love him or hate him. He's actively trying to be, I'm a masculine guy, but, you know, I'll do what I want to.
An E-man.
Yeah. But I think that's what Sam Hyde is also trying to do to some. I represent some sort of lost masculinity that has been lost, and I'm trying to reclaim that, you know, for you other misfits, for you rage-filled, you know, manly men, you know, fighting misfits out there. I am the one for you, you know. It's all, these attempts to reclaim lost masculinity. Masculinity was never lost to begin with, baby.
There we go. There we go.
There is no, just chill out. You don't need to worry about you. Do you like being a man? You think you're a man? That's great. You are a man. You do what you do. You're living it. You live in masculinity right now. There's no need to reclaim lost anything. It was never missing.
And there's so many different types of it, though. Like, I feel like there's some people who, if they heard you say that, they would misread it on purpose and think you were implying, like, we need to embrace as men to be even more feminine. But, like,
no, there is no. It's a multifarious definition.
Yeah, for sure. There's still
you know?
super manly dudes, and then, like, I mean, I know he's dead, but he's just the only one I can think off the top of my head because I'm slightly tipsy. But there's people like Prince who can take the, you know, more feminine side of masculinity and still make it masculine. Like, there's nothing stopping you from. Yeah, it's kind of cringe, dude, when people get embarrassed about that shit or like hard on themselves.
I think a lot of these young guys that are really like flailing or it's just like, dude, you need to just pick up a hobby. Like, you shouldn't even be looking for answers from somebody who's trying to give you advice. You know, like you should like just start doing something that you like. Like, do you want to learn how to play guitar, pick up a guitar. Do you want to learn how to play soccer, go join like an intramural soccer league. Like those to me, and then you know what, then you're going to meet people who are like-minded and cool, and they're not trying to get in your brain like some of these other fucking guys, like all these like Jordan Peterson, Sam Hyde, Hassan Piker, I don't care what, it's like all of them have it in the back of their mind like, oh, I'm trying to just like protect this, and they probably all feel like they're doing the right thing, right? I don't think, and none of those guys give me like grifter
No, Sam
vibes.
Hyde might be openly villainous. Who knows what he thinks?
A little bit.
Who can read into his mind?
We can't handle Sam Hyde slander on the Cold Cuts podcast.
That's not true. We were slandering him last episode.
You were
I think
not me,
the
not me.
point he's openly villainous. That's sort of the appeal, is that I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad
I
guy.
guess.
He's just like Billie Eilish.
I
He's
could
like
be
Billie
completely
Eilish for men.
wrong. I feel like his take on that is I'm the disgusting, gross guy. I
Yeah.
don't think he sees
Yeah.
himself as like a bad dude.
don't
I could be
know.
crazy though. Anytime I stand up for people, they end up proving me wrong in like a year or two. So you guys can all laugh when that happens.
Yeah, I'm too old to be standing up for anybody. You like, and all of us are adults here. You got to stand up for yourself. Just
I'm a
you know what I
baby in a
mean?
man's body. I'll be quite honest.
It's just like
Yeah.
I get like I don't think any of those guys are really, honestly. My take on like Sam Hyde is that I think that his the shit that he says, the way that he views like the world or Hollywood or like modern masculinity or whatever, I think he's sincere and like he really does believe the things that he says. Like I don't think he's like a total fucking, like Gavin McInnes is a fucking sham. Like none of that shit is real. I don't think.
Well,
that he's,
except he does believe the white supremacy. He really actually
He
is
does.
very invested. in the white
I think he does, but so much of that is just a put on, and it's obvious because he's just fucking old and like lame. You know,
Well,
like,
dude,
like
my take, I could be completely wrong, but with Sam and Gavin, I feel like the biggest issue that's causing them bad image shit and what's causing them to like say retarded shit is like they've cultivated a very like awful audience of like just like chimp brain people who I think you can get like irony poisoned or pushed harder to one side if you notice like a lot of positive feedback from another side. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not playing defense.
Okay, I have a thing. So I got into trouble recently for making a sincere post about South Park. South Park, a show I love very much and I think is very funny, but often has, some pretty fucking cringe moments in its past. The most obvious one is like, even very recently, it's pretty transphobic. A lot of its takes on trans people are not very good.
One?
But yeah, but even one recently where it's Macho Man Randy Savage.
I saw that one.
That one is also, and that was like, what's weird is they went back on it too. Like they did an episode where they were more receptive to more progressive, for lack of a better word, politics on trans issues. The episode called The Sissy. And then they went back on it again with this whole trans sports thing. But whatever, who cares about that? I mean, lots of people. You should criticize stuff. But the thing that I took umbrage with is their Family Guy episode, where their whole thing is the manatees who write Family Guy refuse to work because
we do have a minute left. Just interjecting.
Either yes, everything is okay or nothing's okay. And I think that attitude is stifled. Clearly, it wasn't okay to depict Muhammad because you didn't depict him. So it's not. It's a dialectic. It's a conversation with the audience. And that's it doesn't take place in a vacuum, what you say. And when you dialogue with the audience in a way that promotes that sort of aggression thing, that's what you get,
Mhm.
Dude, we have to talk about this more because it is interesting. But from my understanding, they literally did animate the scene with Muhammad, but were forced out by the network.
Yes. And so
Yeah.
it clearly wasn't okay. There was commerce involved. A better ending to the episode.
But is that their fault or is that the network's fault?
Who cares whose fault it is? It wasn't okay.
Bro, before we got cut off, you're way smarter than me, House, so there's a chance I just didn't fully comprehend what you were saying. But when you were saying, like, because they didn't show Muhammad, you could tell that was, like, bad or whatever?
No, it's not that it was bad. It's just, okay, so when the phrase that they bring up in the show Cartoon Wars, which is a common philosophy, a comic axiom that a lot of comedy people have, which is either everything's okay or nothing's okay. Either everything's okay to joke about or nothing's okay to joke about, right? It's this sort of free speech absolutist position, which when it comes to the government, I agree with is absolutely correct. The government should have no right to censor you or threaten to censor that speech. But, it becomes a different thing in real life, because comedy doesn't take place as like, oh, I write a joke and then I tell it to no one. It's comedy is a dialogue between you and an audience, right? It's not in a vacuum. So when it's between you and an audience, there are some things that are not okay for that audience, whatever it is. And, that audience can be expansive and be made up of many people. in South Park's case, their audience was their network because they have to get it past their network in order to get the distribution to make the money. And the network crunches the numbers. They say, this will lose us money. So we're not going to show it. Ultimately, this is going to lose us money. And you'd think as like rational libertarian guys, they'd understand this, like commerce has an effect on what is okay for me to say or not. But they were expecting, oh, in the end of the Cartoon Wars episode, Fox takes the high road and ends up showing Muhammad and Family Guy. What the fuck is that? What fantasy is that? No fucking network would do that. That's fucking stupid as hell.
Didn't it happen too around the Charlie Hebdo time? Because the network was probably shitting themselves. Dude, I remember when I first heard about the Charlie Hebdo attacks and I was looking them up like, this is probably going to be some scathing drawing or like really deep. And it's just like, it literally looks like I drew it. And it's like Muhammad kissing Jesus or something with a bomb on his head. And I'm just like, dude, no matter if you're the most religious person in the world, if I saw that shitty ass drawing, I would not be able to muster the rage to kill someone over it.
I would just be like, oh, there's like a little poopy monkey drawing these comics.
Dude,
like,
my mom still freaks out about that shit because I don't even know why, but she's always like, make sure you don't do anything anti-Muslim because they could put a fatwa on you just because we live there. But I'm just like, I really don't think big homo is going to cause me to have like a fatwa on my head.
I mean, anyway, that's also the context of it too, is that, yes, the Charlie Hebdo things are obviously terrible. And, you know, those people should be denigrated who committed that massacre. Fuck them. You know, obviously terrible people shouldn't have happened. But you know, what do you get out of depicting Muhammad, right? You get like a joke about how Muslims are bad. And what is this in the context of? They're right smack dab in the middle of the Iraq war, right? Where they're just droves and droves of Muslims are being killed by American fucking war machines every day. So what does this ginning up hatred of, or ginning up, oh, they're coming, the Muslims are coming, it's so bad that they did this. Meanwhile, we get to... You know, what do you gain out of depicting it? It's just, you know, it's that oppositional thing that everything's okay or nothing's okay. You get that axiomatic idea in your head, and it means, and that's how I relate it back to like Sam Hyde or something like it. When I said that comment, people were commenting in the replies, oh, this is like how iDubbbz eventually turned around.
Just to catch you up to memory, because I do remember seeing this tweet. You didn't delete it, did you?
No, I didn't delete it. Yeah.
Your point was pro South Park though, or no?
No, I think the show is good. And as a result of it being a good show, you should analyze it critically. And the show demands you take it seriously. Unlike, you know, they're making fun of Family Guy, but the only time Family Guy demanded it you take seriously was the Brian and Stewie episode, which was really good, actually. They pulled it off.
When they die?
No, when they're in the bottle episode.
I hate that episode. I know
lots of people. I think it's good. I think it's a very good episode.
It's like
let me just throw this out there. Just I saw this, but they were interviewed about the Family Guy episode.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about that is I don't think they were the base of that episode or where their idea to make that episode came from a place of making a point. It really seemed like based on the interview, they were just extremely pissed Family Guy was doing better than them. They literally say that, like that they were mad and that's the reason they made it.
No, that's the funny part of the episode where their criticism of Family Guy being randomly assembled humor is absolutely true.
Yeah.
But, you know, and it's frustrating to somebody that prides themselves like Matt and Trey do off of their sort of tight character-based script work, that here comes this thing, which is, they have to keep calling back to the plot in like really stilted setups because they keep doing these cutaway gags, which are just combinations of different things. There seems to be no thought. You know, do you remember the copy pasta to Penguin of Doom?
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
And because it represents that lull so random humor where it's like you don't really have to make much effort to achieve anything in that vein of humor because you can just put two very different things next to each other. It's funny. Oh, or you can say thing in a weird way.
I remember like a year ago, someone hit me with that. They were like, I hate YOLO Swag because he just reminds me of like the Manatee episode where it's just random ideas strung together. But I'm so dumb. My brain was like, I get that reference and I love manatees. So I just kind of like absorbed it in a very positive way. But dude, I completely misunderstood your take because I thought you were implying Matt and Trey, when they did that South Park episode, didn't put their money where their mouth is because it was censored. but
Oh,
that's not what you were saying.
no, I'm not. I don't think they put their money where their mouth. No, I phrased it incorrectly. I said, you could have chosen your millions of dollars. You could have chosen, why didn't you quit the show and depict Muhammad? You could have depicted Muhammad if you really wanted to, but clearly you wanted to keep your fucking, and obviously I wouldn't expect them to quit their fucking show. That was just a hypothetical situation,
Right.
which no one would ever do. But what is my train of thought here? My train of thought here is that
Big brain.
In judging what everything is okay and nothing is okay, it's never that easy, because you have all of these things that mitigate what you can and can't say. And you have that in comedy too, like in stand-up comedy, when you're working a room and some jokes will not land with this audience.
Like
Sometimes
Kramer's famous bit.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That clearly in that moment, that wasn't okay. I'm sure he could have said those jokes at like a different context and it would have been okay. That's the thing. It's not everything is okay or nothing is okay, but rather okay is a shifting set of standards depending on your audience, who you are, what you can do at the time. Some people can get away with everything. Some people can get away with little because they have like a narrow frame of comedy. It's everything okay is nothing okay is such a reductive, narrow view of how we experience comedy, which is what I was really getting at. That's what really bugs me about it.
Boiling down what House is saying for our viewers who are like me and can't understand high intelligence concepts, read The Room. I think that's the take.
That's basically it. Read The Room. The Room dictates what's okay and what's not okay. And here's the thing is like South Park says everything's okay and nothing's okay, but they're not going to like make a joke that's going to alienate their audience or something. They're not going to suddenly become like pro-Reaganites or something like that. They're not going to get
that would be baller. Dude, Daphne always gets mad at me because at the end of the day, I don't consider myself a comedian. But I do think it is important to be allowed to make jokes. And especially if you're a type of person who loves edgy humor, there's going to be times you make a joke and it's not going to land well. It's not going to be good. But I think you should be allowed to make it without being like, this guy's hateful, when it's like clearly it's like a joke or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think, the thing, it has to just be, when it's funny, you can get away with a lot more shit. You know what I mean? Like that's the hardest part is being funny. Anybody can say things that are like inflammatory or edgy, but
dude, just despite me believing in that and like, whether you're funny or not, the whole concept of like being able to joke about anything, I'm diehard in that belief, but it's a point, and I think House, you were kind of alluding to this. When you make that your whole thing and like your hill to die on when it's a joke that's not worth it, to me, it becomes cringe, and you turn into someone like. And don't get me wrong. I think Ricky Gervais is very funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Extras and Office classics.
100%.
Early stand-up comedy, very good.
But then
the
turns
podcast
into
very good.
Taking that photo of him on the cross, and it's like, this is very cringe, my dude. Like, I get the point you're trying to make, but this is not the hill to die on.
The whole concept is you're joking. You're just joking. It's pretend. We're doing pretend. We're playing like kids, right? Once you turned it into your. I mean, I think that was the other thing about Charlie Hebdo too, is because it made a lot of people feel like I am the cartoonist. I am on the vanguard of terror. I am the most embattled person. And so it gave people a real, because when you're in the arts, you have this sort of mercurial sense of purpose. What am I doing? Doing little dick drawings for a living? Fuck me. There are people who are mining cobalt with their hands in the Democratic Republic, and I'm making little dick drawing. Fuck me. So I think, artists are constantly in search of this meaning, of this, what can I do to justify my importance in this world? And now here's this very visceral thing. A bunch of cartoonists are getting murdered. Ooh, I hate Islam because they hate the cartoonists, and that's me. Ooh. So, I think part of it too was this way to inflate that sense of importance too. Because really, terror attacks against cartoons pretty rare. It happened a couple of times in Europe. Never happened in America, really. That was sort of an imagined exercise, but
I think we all agree, though, it is fucked up. I don't want anyone to purposely misread this as like.
No, you should. You should. I think you should be able to depict Muhammad without fear of reprisal, but I'm not going to do it. Saying I'm not going to do that shit, because I fear reprisal.
To be fair, though, to the South Park guys, just because I know we were talking about that, from my understanding, if you can't tell, I've watched a lot of South Park documentary material on both of these guys, but apparently, I think it was literally after that incident. You know how in the South Park openings theme, it ends with a big group of like the whole town's people and there's a ton of characters. Allegedly, after that happened, with they weren't allowed to show Muhammad, they put him in that for like a season or two.
Oh, really?
So he was there without anyone knowing.
Okay.
That's fun.
clever.
I'm sure that's fun. But that's part of it too. It's what you can get away with it. It was okay because nobody noticed it. That's why it was okay when they depicted it in Super Best Friends, because at that time there wasn't a heightened atmosphere around the depiction of Muhammad, because that weird. It all started out with, what was it called? Jyllands Amsterdam or something, that newspaper that went out of its way to do, here, we are the Dutch and we hate brown people the most. So here are 11 drawings of Muhammad. One where he is a bomb. Yes. And then.
Dude, if you've ever worn clogs, I forgive all Dutch people for their racism, because I would hate everyone too if I was walking around in wooden shoes. They are so fucking painful, dude.
They're not good.
That was the worst gift. I remember my parents got me that one time because they went to Amsterdam. It was like, here's some clogs. Or we visited some Amsterdam couple and they gave me them. And I was just like, I will never fucking wear. They're literally the opposite of Crocs.
No,
They look kind of cool, but it hurts your feet so fucking badly.
Much. Yeah. Why do those even exist? This is the point I wanted to make on the cartoon thing before we get off the topic. But it's like, and also it's all okay or it's not okay. Is like, the whole thing that happened with the Charlie Hebdo incident, like, I don't know what those comics look like. Like, I could probably look them up, but I know that they were just making fun of like Islamic people.
They're pretty racist. Like, they're absolutely very racist comics.
They're very
but
bad.
They were stupid and shitty. But
were they racist, or were they clearly just like someone trying to be edgy?
There was some very, how French racism is. They're very afraid of the Algerians. They don't like the Algerians in France.
I could see how it could very easily wade into racist territory, even without seeing the comics. But like, it's the same. In my eyes, it's the same thing as like, you have these like Nazi propagandist newspapers that print cartoons where, like Black people and Jews and Asians are all depicted in these really heinous 1940s style, like, what I mean?
Quick interjection. I can't do it but you guys can, because you're both Jewish. Can you guys hit me with the pose real quick?
What pose? Profile?
I did it on accident.
You see, because I enjoy doing this a lot, actually, which is, I'm sad that, how like Black people say they can't eat fried chicken in public because it's like people pay shit. I love doing this shit, but people will, you're a filthy merchant,
Yeah, that's it. Well, I completely lost my train of thought.
Bro. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. I know what I was going to say is that I would feel equally as even with like Nazi propagandist cartoons and stuff. I don't think that it would still be wrong to bomb the building that, you know what I mean, or attack the building of Nazi
with Nazi, that's the weird one with Nazis, because because
it's cartoons. My point is that because it's a cartoon, and it's like, you have, in my opinion, you have freedom in art to depict things that are heinous and shitty and bad and
for sure.
Right.
There's that famous hot diggity dog or hot diggity demon drawing of Steven Juniverse that a lot of people got upset about him.
I don't know. I don't care about that
in here in the.
I don't think I can.
The problem. Okay, so one of the most acceptable limits of free speech, right, is threats. We all understand that uttering threats, no matter how funny, you say, no matter how funny it is to say kill yourself to someone you don't like on the internet, there is a reason why they're illegal. There is a reason why you don't encourage them.
Not to interrupt you too soon, but just because this is hot on my mind, because it's semi-recent, do you feel that way about the Sam Hyde Hassan threat that he made at the boxing thing?
Well,
to me,
I don't know.
So clearly, I could literally see myself making that same joke at someone I don't like. I guess, I've done it before. Every time you come on, I talk about how you are always DMing me about how you want to kill
no.
hostage killer. You know what I mean?
No, stop trying to make
Everyone, by the way, if you like House,
Hostage Killer is a very good artist.
Post Hostage
Buy
Killer's
his zine.
docs
Buy
in
his
the
zine.
replies. Post that.
Don't do it.
We'll send you free stickers.
Stop trying to manufacture this. Support his art.
Oh gosh.
But
did you see something like that as a clear joke?
Here's the weird thing with Sam Hyde is that, and the other weird thing about Gavin McInnes is like, and what a lot of people have been paranoid about on the left about reading fascism into a lot of stuff like that is there has become a way to couch threats in coded language, whether it through 1488 or the stupid, OK sign, that had everyone paranoid for a second. And there becomes this thread, especially through 4chan and Poll, of being able to couch these sort of very extreme ideas, how like questioning the Holocaust in these little Pepes or Apus, or it's the thing behind Stone Toss as well, where you do like two normal comics where it's like, oh, I'm a boobs man, I'm a butt man, and then you do your how many was 6 million really comic,
He's just asking questions.
Yeah. So it's that thing of like, and why if you catch any whiff of it, in my mind, I immediately have to box it all out, because if you flirt with that even a little, people can get the wrong idea. Where because so much of the campaign on the alt-right was this sort of momentous and brilliant campaign led by Donald Trump, which finally discovered he was the first ever Republican to be funny. Can you think of like I guess Reagan was kind of funny, but not like funny like Donald Trump was.
Donald Trump is actually
laugh.
like very funny. Like some of the shit that he does, unintentionally funny in a lot of ways.
Oh,
but
100%.
sometimes
She was a wonderful woman.
But
this is the funniest thing on earth. She was a wonderful.
The funniest clip on the internet is him
the
learning
music
about
is like
RGB.
amazing. Yeah,
it was very funny on Reagan's part when after his assassination, he didn't get assassinated. After his attempted assassination, he was doing a speech and a balloon popped. And without missing a beat, he was like, "You missed," and like kept going.
Which people attribute to quick wit, but I attribute more to Alzheimer's, and he actually thought he was being shot at.
He just didn't even care anymore. He was like, "My wife has blown everyone in Hollywood. Please, God, take me. Please kill me."
I can't even remember her blowjobs anymore.
Oh, dude, you kind of sound like him.
That was
everybody does a Reagan
I always
impression.
forget, dude. You need to start doing. You got to get into the voice scene again, bro. Your voice is too good
does a
not
voice
to.
acting. Yeah, maybe I should. Maybe I should start being a voice. I should be like Sungwon Cho. I should be.
No,
like
you should just
Crozier.
go back to what you used to do and just voice black characters. I think
I should. Yeah, I should only do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Black furries, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Oh, there should be a black furry cartoon.
I mean, Arthur had a couple. Like,
Brain is the only canonically African American character on Arthur, I think.
Dude, I think a lot of people see Goofy as black. I'm not even kidding.
Skeeter Valentine, also. Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z, characters who aren't black but have been embraced by black people.
That's like the Hispanic thing with Goku.
Yeah, Hispanic. Well, Hispanic and Arabian people apparently as well. There's a big Muslim.
Dragon
Goku
Ball Z was
thing.
never big when I was in Saudi.
Interesting.
Yeah, but maybe I could be completely wrong.
I didn't have any friends really growing up. Like none of my friends gave a shit about Dragon Ball Z, and then all of a sudden it felt like I entered the workforce, and all of these like 20-something-year-olds that I was working with were like, "Bro, did you watch last night's episode of Dragon Ball Z?" And I was like, "Where the fuck did this come from?"
What race? Out of curiosity.
Mostly non-white people. Yeah, okay, mostly non-white. I don't know why. What is that? Why is there like this cultural like appeal for Dragon Ball Z?
Because it's like, okay, there was this great chart I saw of people playing this Star Wars MMO, and people overwhelmingly in the global South chose the Rebellion, and people in the North chose the Empire. Where it's like,
Let's
I think,
go!
Goku is like Frieza, who's this brilliant character, and it's hard to read communism or anything like that into Dragon Ball Z, but the inspiration for Frieza is literally real estate speculators. Toriyama has been interviewed, and he said that he hates real estate speculators more than anyone else on Earth, for especially what they did economically to Japan. And that's what Frieza does. He goes to a planet, he takes its resources, and then he blows it up. And he also, enslaves the proud Saiyan race while doing this as well. There's this theme of like Goku is able to overcome his oppression with his general good nature. And I think, when you're sort of in the global South, or when you're in battle, they're arresting me for Goku. They're arresting me for
my God. I was like thinking it was me again, and I was like, please God.
No, they're arresting me for my hard Goku takes. I think there is that struggle against this hegemonic, systemic, universal power that seeks to, use you for your labor, because that's what Vegeta was. He was a mercenary for Frieza. His labor is being exploited. I'm starting sounding like a real asshole.
I was going to say, bro. Well, I didn't realize you were such like a ball head.
It's one of the most important social. Everyone should know Dragon Ball Z. If you want to just get along in life, you should
watch it.
Like if you don't know a sport. I don't know sports, so Dragon Ball is the most universal thing that I know about. Yeah.
I'll give a dumber take, because I think there's more people out there who are like me and not you, House, where they have 3 IQ points. All the guys I know who weren't white who love Dragon Ball Z were huge meathead dudes. And I think there's just something appealing, whether you're white or not, of
there's
him
beefed
fucking
the fuck up.
I
mean,
there's
I will say
people who like that. Sorry, I gotta get this out because I have autism and I'm wearing a
Naruto shirt. Go ahead.
But the same people who are into Dragon Ball Z seem to also really be into Naruto for that whole aspect of like
the power fantasy.
Yeah, and like training to become a maximum and like fucking...
That part is cool, yeah. But that's also what I love about... Well, 2 things. One, I was going to say, I wasn't really a Dragon Ball watcher, but I drew a Dragon Ball related comic like recently, and I needed to use a visual reference, and I was watching...
Was this the Cleveland one?
Yeah, the Cleveland's house one. And I was watching clips of like some epic Dragon Ball Z battles, where just to find like a cool still frame that I could like mimic. And when I was watching it, it was like clearly an older episode because you can tell that it's like hand drawn and painted. And I was like, holy shit, this is like extremely well done animation.
Yeah, it's a good looking cartoon. That's the appeal of it too.
Yeah, it's really and those characters, like just drawing that picture took me fucking like an hour to draw that, and it's like we're talking about like thousands of frames of these characters. Like you look at a lot of like cartoons like that are popular in Western animation. It's like Family Guy, SpongeBob, all these characters are really easy to draw, so you can draw them a lot in succession. But those Dragon Ball characters are not easy to draw, and they're in high intensity action situations, which is like crazy.
Dude, and apparently overseas, the cost or the price you get paid to animate is like shit compared to a lot of like Western animators.
Yeah, I believe
you can exploit people's love for it. I have a crackpot theory on why anime especially has more international appeal than maybe even like Western cartoons. And it's specifically because of the mouth movement, because the mouth movement is more flap-like and doesn't necessarily need to adhere strictly to the mouth movements.
You're saying it's easy to dub.
Yeah, it's easier to dub, and your suspension of disbelief is held up more when you're experiencing it in your own language and you're hearing it, you're able to relate to it more. I think when you're watching like a dubbed Western cartoon and it doesn't match the lip movements, you're sort of taken out of it,
Dude, I don't know I wonder if Japanese people feel this way about hearing American voices, but there's something about... I'll watch it in dub, especially if I'm working and I can't read the subtitles, but there's something about reading the subtitles and having it subbed and hearing the actual Japanese voices that are like, why do they sound so cool, dude?
Yeah,
What is
they do
going
sound
on,
cool.
bro?
Well, you
They
know,
are
there's
baller.
that. You've seen that video of the Italian guy who made the
The
gibberish
fake
disco song
English
that goes,
song, yeah.
and you
Yeah,
know,
that was great.
American says, "Well, about song what a going on time, but you won't saying what a bomb better about time." You know, it
Yeah.
The
feels
funny
all
thing
right.
It's
is you
very
could be
real.
speaking gibberish, or you could have just sang a Bob Dylan song, and I would have
It's
no
so
idea
true. Yeah.
which one it was.
Then you get used to it. It's
Yeah.
sucking my penis.
That's good. I was watching actually me and my girl went to go see we were trying to kill some time during the day and we went to go see there was a double feature like for the month of October. They were doing double feature creature features of like really old scary movies.
You watched a video of my ex-wife?
Yes.
Whoa, whoa.
So we actually watched it was a double feature of both the 1930s movies. It was The Mummy and Bride of Frankenstein.
Beautiful.
And yeah, which I had never seen either of those, like the original ones. And we were watching them, and what made me think of it is because that time period in Hollywood, for some reason, all of the people talked in this really weird Hollywood pseudo British American
The mid-Atlantic accent.
Yeah, it's like this weird like
Everyone
whatever,
talks like this. Oh,
what are you
senor.
doing? Yeah, whatever are you doing? Oh,
Here's the
nothing.
guilty thing. Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, oh, I must respectfully decline your invitation. Like shit like that. And it's just like, where did this come from? And it makes me wonder when, well, two things. One, I was thinking, when did they stop doing this? When did they finally just say, like, okay, let's hang it up and just talk normal? And then also when I was watching those movies, it kind of made me think, it's like, you know, the technology for films and like script writing has been around for a very long time, but worthwhile movies have really only come about since our parents have been alive, pretty much. Like I
Oh,
think
you didn't
like
like the old Universal monster
I
movie?
would say the Bride of Frankenstein actually was like it was like a good movie because Boris Karloff is like very good as Frankenstein, and it's like he's an exciting Frankenstein is an exciting character, and there's actually a really cool sequence in that movie.
Actually, it's Frankenstein's monster.
Sorry, Frankenstein's monster. There's a really cool sequence in that movie where Frankenstein's monster gets chased out of town because they are hitting him with torches and shit, and they hate him. And he runs away, and he's in the middle of the woods, and he follows the sound of this violin being played in the middle of this like in a cabin in the woods. And he goes over there, and there's a blind man living alone in the cabin who's like playing the violin. And Frankenstein's monster wanders in, and he's like, oh, because he like likes the sound of it, but he can't talk. And the blind man is like, who goes there? What are you doing? And eventually he comes to the conclusion, he's like, I haven't had anybody visit me in so long. Like, I understand you can't speak and I can't see, but we're going to be best of friends. And the two of them, there's like a whole like 30-minute sequence of these two guys where the blind man is just holding up things to Frankenstein, and he's like, bread. And Frankenstein is like, bread. And I was like, God damn, Cold Cuts podcast should be more like this. Like just like
Dude, you describing that scene, having not seen the movie, I would pay top dollar to see a buddy cop movie of like Frankenstein and a blind man driving around New York.
That sounds good to me.
It was actually good. That sequence, I was like, this is actually good, and it was good script writing, and it was like a fun. But The Mummy sucked. The Mummy was not a good movie.
Well, yeah. But have you seen any of the old Murnau silent films? Have you seen Nosferatu or have you seen Faust or because those hold up? I think those are pretty incredible movies.
Yo, I thought I could make it these last 3 minutes 30 seconds, but I'm going to piss myself. I will be right back, gentlemen. The IQ of the podcast will raise while I'm gone. So.
In this, I've actually written some blue card jokes.
Oh yeah, you have.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna put them in the chat.
Yeah, put them in the chat. Yeah, we'll start reading
get
them
Harris to read one right now.
Okay, here. I'll wait. Okay, it's a shame Zach's gonna miss this. Okay,
he's gonna miss this one, but we'll have more for him later.
Okay,
if he gets back in time.
I have a lot of sibling rivalry with my brother, especially when it comes to which one can give the other the more intense prostate orgasm. That's good. That's good. Wait,
there you go. It turned out to be a sibling incest joke.
That's good. Those always hit. Let me see if I have any Lucy's still sitting around here.
Lucy's. I have three more.
Oh, okay. I should have come correct with these. Let's see.
Let me give you another one. Let me give
Okay,
you another one.
good. Let's see. I would join the Nation of Islam, but I think what's really holding me back is that I don't look good in bow ties. That's good.
You do look good in bow
That's good,
ties, bro.
bud.
You talking
Here,
about yourself?
no, we're House has some blue card jokes that he was sending us.
We're
Let me
writing
see
some
if I
blue
can,
card jokes. Zach, you should read this one.
All right.
Read this blue card.
Where are you
joke.
sending it to me?
I'm sending it in the chat.
Okay.
in the Zoom chat.
Oh, the Zoom chat. Okay.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is the joke.
No, just the third one down. The third
Third one
message down. Read the third message down.
I would never pay for sex, which is why I force prostitutes to do it at gunpoint.
That's
Oh no.
That's
Oh,
good.
no.
That's good. Wait, I'm trying to transfer these fucking jokes to my
Here, I got
computer
one for you,
intern.
House.
Okay, all right. We'll do a blue card joke. It's funny how these are called blue card jokes and people know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, not reading. No, it says I'm going to.
No, come on. You
Says I'm going to brutally murder hostage killer in cold blood. I am not going to do that.
I didn't write that. I didn't
Stop
write
doing
that.
that. He wrote that. It's
I'm not going to be able to get
I'm
this
not.
sent over in time.
Stop trying to make this a thing. Please, please. I don't want this. I don't. Please, I'm begging you. Stop. Stop it.
Bro, it's
I'm
okay.
pleading
It's
to you.
okay. It's okay. You wanna fight him.
No.
we're about to get cut off anyway. You
Okay.
might as well just say it.
Have a good night.
Oh, okay. That was a good time. All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
God bless, gentlemen. Yeah,
God bless.
I'm ready for the next house episode. I'm hungry.
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm already ready.